Republicans in Congress bring us to the brink of a government shutdown, it threatens to stop the momentum that we have built around training and around protecting customer rights. Every time they threaten to slash funding for DOT and short the FAA, and there's a Republican proposal to do that on the cusp of reaching the House floor right now, it threatens to reverse all of this progress.
Well, that was the Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg ahead of what his department says is likely to be one of the busiest travel holidays in U.S. history. He says there was some progress there with...
Don't we say that? I feel that is said every year by whoever's in charge.
I mean, there's been a lot of progress.
Except COVID.
We're comparing it to COVID. COVID time, nobody was traveling. But I do think that there has been progress. We've seen an uptick of people who are actually traveling. We've seen an ease of travel over the last big holiday cycles. We saw it on 4th of July. We're seeing it now. I think that we're along that pathway. And fingers crossed, we won't hear of any crises moments. There's still time. But thus far, everything has been rolling pretty smoothly. A lot of people are already gone.
I'm not sure if we can blame it on Republicans.
Well, you're going to try, but I'm going to enjoy this.
I'll do it here in a second.
And I wasn't saying you were. I was saying U.S.
What I will say is,
yes.
the American infrastructure system is just a joke. I mean, it has, particularly around domestic travel, in the sense that we don't have high-speed rail when all the other countries do. That would reduce the air burden. We don't invest enough in infrastructure, which is why I'm thankful President Biden signed historic investments in infrastructure that are starting to take shape. They're going to take years to come. This is just a fundamental problem when you have a rush of travelers. But I do think as we look to invest more in domestic travel, you've got Republicans threatening across-the-board spending cuts. And so, they wanted to gut Amtrak by 92%.
There's no such thing as a spending cut in Washington, D.C. Only a reduction in the radio.
They make this worse, cut Amtrak.
You know what they just told me?
What did they just
told me? They just told me that they have no way around Biden's inflation, so they're going to just talk about victories that don't actually exist. And let's talk about Pete Buttigieg. He only knows one word when it comes to Republicans: extremist. He may well be the worst modern transportation secretary in U.S. history.
I mean, I don't know that there's a ranking.
We got a baby formula problem. He was in Portugal during a rail crisis.
You're blaming Pete Buttigieg for the baby formula issue when we get a lot of
I'm also blaming him for being in Portugal during the rail crisis. The guy is absent. He's quiet, quit the job. You only put him up there so that you could tout how young and how diverse he was. In this Biden administration, essentially, identity politics trumps competency and merit.
The reality is Mayor Pete successfully was mayor for a lot of terms, understands these challenges local jurisdictions have. Fixing infrastructure in this country is not easy. I'm proud of his leadership there. I obviously want him to do more and can do more. But again, all he's doing is implementing.
And Democrats have historically led on
So the bottom line is traffic is going to be really bad.
Yeah, so I was going to say,
and it's really not Republicans' fault. The weather.
I'm not sure I would put my political...
It's not Republicans' fault.
I was going to say, hold on one second. I was
about the weather, but it is Republicans' fault of historic divestments in infrastructure. We see that across the country, whether it's busing systems, whether it's requests to have train systems in various places across the country, in various communities, because Republicans in leadership don't.
What progress? Hold on one second. When you strip the politics out of this, he said that it threatens to reverse all of this progress. Flying is a nightmare in this country. Any Democrat or Republican would tell you it absolutely stinks right now.
Instagram will not tell you that, because there have been more people traveling to Paris, to Australia, to every place else.
No one wants to go to the airport. We just have to get from point A to point B. I think you're touting progress that is not really progress, and all you're saying is
the numbers show progress.
No, we had COVID, and now you're trying to say all of a sudden, just sort of like creating the number of jobs. You didn't create jobs. You recovered jobs.
The Republican response is too
last.
So I don't know what their answer is here.
Can we put up that picture of Palm Springs, California, by the way, Mark? Because I think all of us would want to go to Palm Springs at this point in time. Americans are starting to hit the road. There you go. Along the highway there in California. It seems like a nice drive. I don't know about you guys, but I'm like, why turn a 2-hour flight into an 8-hour flight when I can take an 8-hour drive and make it an 8-hour drive? That's sort of the way I view travel right now. Because flying, it feels like every flight's canceled. And I know on the car.
I've had that issue since COVID with a lot of flights.
Really? Oh, my gosh.
So.
I made a decision a long time ago to stay in D.C. for that.
There you go. That's not a bad decision. Thank you for watching. And make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.